Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different twists and turns as well as surprises in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, what's really great about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie has not only 8 new characters or more in the story, but we also know that there are going to be a lot of callbacks to the originals and the prequels, and that J.J. Abrams has this master plan, if you will, in order to bridge all 9 movies together into one big epic movie that is set to be released December 19th of this year. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intriguing for the characters of Rey and Emperor Palpatine. Now, specifically, a description of Rey inside of the Lost City, where it's described that she is entering the Sith location and eventually reaches a place that is dubbed as the Land of the Forbidden, that is said to be a parallel of the Land of Warriors in the Jedi section. It's said that Rey eventually reaches the Land of the Forbidden, where dozens of Sith Lord statues remain, where it's described that Rey begins to hear a distant voice trying to reach out to her, where the voice is described to be of Emperor Palpatine somehow, some way, where it's described that the voices of Palpatine reveal to her that darkness is growing within her and that part of her origins have something to do with the dark side. It's said that the voices of Palpatine are only whispers and faint from a distance. However, it's implied that this falls in line with the spirit of Sidious and his involvement in the movie by JJ. The Land of the Forbidden is said to allow Rey to link with Palpatine in an unknown way, since it has a connection with the Beyond, where the Palpatine whispers are delivering Rey the hard truth of her darkness that was teased in The Last Jedi during Rey's training. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, yes, we do know that the spirit of Sidious is going to be used in a very unique way in this movie, in both the second and third acts of the movie. In fact, you guys may have heard about this, but there's a lot of talk out there that there is going to be a villain called the Dark Acolyte that is going to be possessed basically by the spirit of Sidious at the very end of Episode 9, hence bringing Palpatine back to life in a very unique way. So I want to go over the Land of the Forbidden. Now, we haven't heard about this name, but we've heard about the land piece in the actual Lost City. Now, in the Lost City, there's a Sith location and a Jedi location. The Jedi location is called the Land of Warriors, where the Sith location is called the Land of the Forbidden. And in this section, when Rey actually goes in there, it's described that she begins to hear the whispers of Emperor Palpatine in the distance, right? The whispers of Lord Sidious himself, revealing to Rey about her darkness, and that darkness is growing within her, and that parts of her origins are actually linked to the dark side of the Force. Now, does this necessarily mean that Rey is going to turn to the dark side in Episode 9, where Palpatine reveals the secret to Rey? I don't think so. I don't think that they would do that and go as far to turn Rey to the dark side. Now, we do know that she taps into the dark side during her lightsaber duel against Kylo Ren a couple of times, you know, during their lightsaber duel in the third act of the movie, where we actually went over one of the other leaks where the voices of Anakin Skywalker and Luke actually guide her away from that darkness. So what I find so very interesting about this is that, yes, we do know that J.J. Abrams has this big plan in order to make Palpatine very significant in this movie that's going to have a major impact on all 8 movies that come before this one. And it's going to be something that fans have never seen before on the big screen. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when we think about Emperor Palpatine and the spirit of Sidious actually being linked to the Beyond and actually being linked to the Lost City as well, where Rey is actually getting, you know, this hard truth delivered from the spirit of Sidious, or whatever it really is, these voices of Palpatine reaching out to her, I believe now that maybe, judging from the Force Awakens novelization, that voice was Palpatine all along, where she was fighting Kylo Ren, and she heard a voice. This isn't a novelization. Toward the end, go ahead and read it. It's a very interesting piece, where she hears a voice in her head that says, "Kill him." Now, what really does intrigue me is that there's also voices that you can hear in both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi that are reaching out to Rey, but mind you, those are female voices, and those could either be, you know, the voices of Rey's mother, or maybe a ancient Jedi, or a Will, who knows, right? But when we think about the Lost City, you know, we do know that a lot of new revelations are going to be revealed in this particular sequence. And specifically in this scene, this is where Rey is actually getting delivered the hard truth by the whispers of Emperor Palpatine in a faint way in the distance, that there is a dark side within her that's growing, and that parts of her origins are linked to the dark side of the Force. Now, I'm really trying to wonder exactly what does this mean? Is Rey, in fact, a creation of Palpatine, perhaps? Could she very well have Palpatine DNA, since she does fight in a very similar way in The Force Awakens? Very hard to miss. Very interesting piece in Episode 7. But the other piece that I do want to tap into is that we also know that J.J. Abrams has this big plan for Palpatine that's going to have a massive effect on one of the sequel trilogy characters. That could either be Kylo Ren or Rey, for all we know. So guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.